What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly... I think that's an old one. You know what? We should change this. Hold on. Immediately. First thing I see on the show is we're going to change this. I'm not still hungover from the previous week. I don't know if that's what it is. I'll come up with a new lower third once I switch back to me here in a second. But anyway, it is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. I hope you guys are having a good day. And if you're not, suck it up. You're about to have an even better one with your friends here. I want to say hello to somebody who has been working hard. And when I say he's working hard, you would... But in this case, for one, handsome KEVIN SHERRILL, who this week, not handsome, hard-working KEVIN SHERRILL. Kevin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. You know, I'm always willing to invest in self-aggrandizement.
You know what's very funny is that was not the lower third I had originally written for you. It was a different one, and I don't know why it's not coming up. But we can fix these things in post. So anyway, Kevin, you pumped a lot of numbers into our ballots that we'll get to in a little bit. But how have you been able to do that? How have you been able to rally the troops?
Corruption, bribery, occasional threats and intimidation, showing up at people's houses, you know, standard political maneuvering. Got to hit that campaign trail.
You did. Can I share the fact that you have made the thing, and I'll look at it right now just to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn, but the amount of shares on that post are 430. How many of those are you responsible for, sir?
Maybe 12 to 20. We've got like kind of a big ATT family, right? And I sent it to my guys in the group chat, and then I said, hey guys, if y'all are in any other group chats, and then like Kiahi, PGF vet, if y'all don't know him, he's the homie, and I sent it to him, and he was like, oh yeah, I posted it on my thing and asked people to share it. And I think I'm like, you know, I'm probably in a lot of group chats right now. I'm the spam of the BJJ Instagram world for this week, and probably for next week.
Perfect time for him to freeze.
Yes, perfect there. So I think we got that one fixed over this way. Well, we're also joined by a friend, a recurring friend, but not one we see all the time on this show. Why don't we say hello to the wandering grappler himself, Isaac.
Hola.
Isaac, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my man. How are y'all?
We're pretty good. I should say this, and I don't know if this is actually true, but what was it like at Jiu-Jitsu Overdose? Like, how many hours of editing do you think you put into your time there, sir?
Well, I don't know if anybody noticed, but it was kind of like somebody said it on a call that I was on earlier, that it was like a PGF camp that it turned into, because everybody there was like a bunch of the dream team from PGF. So that included some of the production people. And Keelan and I got there and we talked to Octavio and the guys that run the show with Combat Jiu-Jitsu. And we were like, hey, we're here. And they were like, oh, y'all are on vacation. Have fun. We're like, well, we're here. We have our equipment. So we're doing a couple things. Y'all want us to do something? And next thing I knew, we were filming the whole thing. We got all kinds of B footage. We got all the different stuff. So to answer your question, I didn't stop editing until Monday. I started editing on Thursday and I stopped on Monday. So the hours are countless.
I can only imagine that, but I will tell you this, and we were able to fix this up for me, just in case you guys are wondering. Yes, I am a size L, in case you want to get me something for Xmas. I'm just saying, you know, no reason. Rash guards, and if they run like a little bit too small, like an XL is fine. But I feel like it's annoying when these people don't do real sizes, they do rash guard sizes, because when they're like, ooh, it fits tight. No, just change your sizing options. I am not actually an XL. Do you know how debilitating it is to actually think that you're an XL for some of these sizes when you are not? You should go look in the real world. When you make somebody who's a big boy at 205 think that they're a triple XL, I think that's a little rude. So I think the system needs to get their shit together. But that's just me. Let me go ahead and bring it back.
I mean, who's deciding that?
I don't know. I think Big Rash Guard is deciding that.
Big Rash Guard.
It's just been very disappointing because at one point I actually had to order something for Kevin. And I was like, I think I need to get you an XL. And Kevin was like, no. Me? No. And I was like, listen, dude, I'm not lying. I think it actually is an XL. Not even that, dude. You're not that stacked. Considering most of the people that we all know, you are not in the top tier of being stacked. But when my man was like, Raf, under no circumstances, get me an XL. And I was like, okay. And then it came in. He's like, you should have gotten me an XL. I was like, brother, I
need an XL.
Rude. It was like, this is not a judgment call. This is I think I'm just trying to be nice here and make sure you have a good fitting size rash guard. But nonetheless, we do have some topics to get to here. And Isaac, I do appreciate you for coming in. I am going to slightly adjust your camera, though, because you did move from where I last left you. So, bam. Now, Isaac,
you were going to be mad.
You told me that you shaved part of your beard.
Oh, yeah, it's trimmed.
Or that you trimmed it.
You can go back. Yeah.
Like, at what part do you think I'm going to trim it? Because I am somebody here who this is a little bit more than I normally have, but I'm in my winter kind of cocoon. When do you say enough is enough, Isaac?
When it starts hampering with food. When you go to eat your toast and it like brushes off the toppings and you're like, all right, this is frustrating.
I'm so glad that the thing that does you in is toast. Like the simplest thing to make is the one
hold on. I should have clarified your tostadas. Like when that was distinctly, I had some tostadas and I was trying to eat it and it was like sweeping it off and I was like, oh, I got to do something about this.
Just angry shaving your beard.
I do appreciate that you have to tell the Mexican, the one lone Mexican on this show, and be like, no, not toast, Raf, tostadas. My people, we call them tostadas, sir, just to make sure you are aware of what that might be.
No. I mean, that's distinctly what I was eating. Distinctly, it was a tostada, like the whole shebang.
Guacamole is made from avocados, Raf, if you didn't know.
You're just digging my grave deeper. Thanks, Kevin.
It's okay. Kevin, to shitpost ever in his life. And you know what was weird is that, dude, on these posts, I had one person say a shitty thing about Kevin. I hid that because I was like, I don't want this. I know it's engagement. I don't want it. And then I had one person say something shitty about Tim. And then that one was so non-offensive that I go, I guess I'll allow that one. And there was, I wake up in the morning and I see there's a whole chain of conversation that happens. So, Kevin, who is that person that is responding to that?
He went to my seminar in Seattle, and he's actually a super fucking nice guy. And he got through the Kiahi grapevine. It got sent to him, and I was like, yeah, can you guys, be sure to vote and, whatever? And he took it upon himself to get in there and go, you know what? Fuck Tim. I'll fight him. I was like, he tagged me in it. And I was like, bro, just so you know, Tim's the sweetest guy on the planet. However, I love the energy. That's an engaged voter.
So, Isaac, have you voted in any of these polls? I don't think I've seen you vote in any of these polls.
I voted in one of them. The very first one, I feel like.
All right, but the rest of them you had no interest in, including two of the co-hosts of this show. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right now, Kevin, before we get to the board, to make your pitch to why you should have Isaac's vote.
Man, why wouldn't I have your vote? We've worked together forever. Can you imagine? That's an et tu brute situation. We've worked together. We've trained together.
I saw somewhere that you were a Russian bot. Do you have a rebuttal to that?
I am. Listen, you got to make some compromise. I'm not actually real. I'm just here to fuck with our democratic system. That said, you should totally get behind it. I'm a cool guy. that I can butcher. I
it's
hate
good.
selling this joke,
you
but
essentially started malfunctioning, and your default setting was Christopher Walken. I'm a cool guy.
I'm a cool guy.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Well, Isaac, you don't have to tell us yes or no, but do you think that made an impression on you?
I'm keeping my options open.
Wow. Well, clearly you have, because you only voted once, and we just put up our 8th poll today. So I don't know how more open you're going to keep your options here, sir.
They've closed 8 times so far.
I mean,
7 times.
technically the polls have not closed. So
oh shit! I thought they were.
Nope. Everybody tries to just certify their reaction anytime they get a slight lead. They're like, nope, results are closed.
Yeah, we're done.
Like, I haven't said anything.
I took a screen cap. It's over.
You took a screen cap, yes, but that doesn't mean shit, first of all. Second of all, you can't announce yourself the winner. I love that you put up the celebratory,
totally can.
I want to thank you all, fam, for getting me through. I was like, you haven't got through dick yet. I still haven't called
corruption.
This race.
I think
yes.
I'm calling for corruption.
Do you know, I can't, Jose Mourinho for Premier League, the little, like, people love that Many Men clip of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every time Reese wins or does something cool, he posts that shit, and I was gonna post it for like beating Tim.
I mean, theoretically beating Tim. You know, there are a couple times when you had leads that then went away.
Oh my gosh, Tim's been leading like throughout. We've been going back and forth. It has been. This is the most hotly contested election I've ever seen personally. I can't imagine one.
Did you at any point message Tim as this was going on? Because there's the group chat, but I know the boys will text each other, create something at my expense. However, none of them have worked. But nonetheless, have you guys been in talks with each other?
Yeah, we were gonna mess with the outcome of the election. We were gonna fuck with it. And we've been messaging and talking back and forth about it, and we were both kind of surprised at how many people fucking voted. Like, I've been going ham and trying to get votes. I fully expected to bury Tim. So, like, I'm working my ass off to get the votes out. I knew I had to overcome 2 things. One is Tim is a sweetheart and everybody likes him. Number 2 is I am very hated. There are a lot of people.
Wait.
What? I can make balloons?
No.
Yo!
No, this is terrible.
Oh,
Is
does
it
that
the
mean
2s?
this one's on?
Do we get... Oh, I can announce my win and throw the fees up.
You can't do that 100% delete this footage.
So you were talking about his professionalism before the show because of the whole thing. Well, now he's behind me.
Holy shit! It's like somebody gave me like the early morning talk radio keyboard where you can.
I've always been so mad at that feature, and despite my best intentions, I can't fully delete it. But the thing that's truly aggravating about it is, the first time it happened, a guest did this, and then like balloon popped up where it was like a floating thumb, and I said, "Oh no, did I press a button?" And I spent like another hour editing it to take it out. Like, it made me get up and go like, "Oh, if it's my mess up, let me get rid of it." And then it happened to impress something that time, and it happened with, of all people, Braylor Grout, who in his most surfer dude moment was going, "Whoa, that's so cool. Let's do that again." And then does 2, and it exploded like a parade of funfetti.
Wait, 2 is the funfetti? What?
That's the one I was trying to get him to do that. I was trying to get him to do that one. I want to point out, Raph, that my feature is turned off. I want to point out my professional there.
Thank you.
I'm never turning it off.
Wow. Well, you're going to see yourself as a silhouette a lot more on the show.
That's in my contract from now on. I want access to these reactions.
I cannot tell you how mad it makes me. And that the worst is that I have no control over it. Like, it's one thing if I did, and then I could fix, like, as everything here on this show, I just fix it. I just always make it work. And this is one of the few areas I just don't have control power over. And it is very aggravating.
Yeah, it's like you gave a toddler a whistle.
I did. And you know what, though? I'm going to keep giving you fake gestures to make just in the hopes that we get you to do the dumbest looking shit that I can meme. And that'll be the way you don't do it anymore.
We just get Kevin throwing gang signs.
Well,
Hey, Kevin, do this real quick.
No, yeah. What happens if I do this? My eyes turn red.
Nunchuck, clip that.
I will tell you, there is a part of me that is like, whenever I do compete, I am grossly out of breath after it is all said and done. And there have been moments where I've hand raised myself when I did not win because I was just like, I'm so tired. No, that was me. I'm fucking exhausted. I have legitimately thought at one point I might do a 10th planet if I accidentally win. Don't do anything. Literally don't gesture anything because I feel like that is the moment where I do not have my wits about me. So I definitely
the spirits just take you over. So sometimes the Holy Spirit just takes you over, Raph, and you just gotta let it speak, and you just gotta start throwing.
I love telling 10th Planet, like 10th Planet people during like photos that they have it backwards. I'm like, oh, bro, wrong hand, wrong hand. And I'll have them.
They'll go, no,
take a second.
Hold on. Wait.
You should know that I have done it more as a photographer because I will fuck with people and go like, oh, you have it the wrong way. And they'll seriously be like, no, but 1-0, right? And I go, no, it's backwards on my camera. And they go, wait, 1-0? And I go, yep, that's it. You got it.
That's the one.
Like,
nailed it.
Mercury.
And you think to yourself, you're like, these guys are trusting me to give them a good photo. And I am far too indulgent of making sure I am entertained as it is all going on.
It cracks me up, all the teams that like have, because 10th Planet nailed it with the 1-0 for their like post-match thing. And then you see all the teams that like recognize how cool that is and try to come in behind it and like do something also cool, like Pedigo. And it's not even close. That's not nearly as cool. I like before I badmouth this, Chris Wojcik's team, Seraphin, before he moved out to B team. Loved Seraphin, phenomenal, but like the sloth hands, like it can't compete. It's just the 1-0 is too cool.
I will say that I do like, and I'm not really talking because it's from a comedy thing, is that the Zenith guys, they do the like that, but all I can think of is
Zoltan.
Zoltan, like the dude, where's my car?
Yep.
I listen,
100%.
guys. As somebody who lives in California, I don't necessarily feel a need to do gang signs all the time. So I do get very wary about some of the children where I go, throw up your gang signs very quickly and then let's move on. And let's not try to get shot. Or specifically me, who is not throwing up the gang sign, but might be in the line of fire. So I've definitely been very helpful on that side. Why don't we go and transition to the board, gentlemen? This week, it's the week leading into Christmas, so there are going to be some topics worth note, but we should start with this. Craig Jones decided to go ahead and tell us some major news. He announced that CGI 2 had funding. We knew that. But now has told us what the twist for CGI 2 is. Apparently this time it is going to be teams. So I'm going to start here with you, Kevin Sherrill. Teams. What does that mean for the larger part of the jiu-jitsu community? And are you excited by this?
I've yet to get excited about it. More so than, CGI 1, to be real. I have a couple like big apprehensions about it. One is that he posted weight classes. I like that they're doing no all-star teams, right? They have to be real affiliations. But he posted weight classes, which is not traditionally like the ADCC weight classes. But that's not traditionally how a quintet works. So apparently it's not true quintet. There's going to be something mixed up in there. He's also said, like, we're doing this because people hate stalling or whatever. And I don't, not to second guess the man, but like, who are we lying to? Like, stalling is a huge part of quintet rules. Huge part of quintet rules. It's like, oh, you're going out there against their best submission threat? Stall his ass out. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I hope we keep the pit, but obviously me and my homies are keeping an eye on it because we would like to drop a team in. American Top Team would love to put a team in. But yeah, we don't really know enough about the format to get too hype about it yet.
Did you feel a certain way that you did? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the anti-stalling sentiment really rubbed me the wrong way philosophically.
Well, okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to go on that one anymore. Like, there are certain things that I feel are, once they hit the I'm Rick James bitch level of joke overplayed, I try not to overdo it because I'm funnier than that. But I do recognize it is important to do every once in a while as a joke, like when it fits. For Kevin, and it occasionally does. But like, can we make the amendment? Not for us here, because I don't think we do it that much. But for like the community, can we aim to be better on the stall calls about Kevin in 2025?
Yeah.
Just say. Okay, that's all. That's all. Listen, fans, just letting you know, I have a certain caliber of needing that high a degree. But Kevin, did you feel a certain way when they didn't mention your team as one of those teams?
No, American Top Team gets overlooked all the time as a jiu-jitsu powerhouse. Like, we have guys like, obviously, Paul, Sergio, and Ernesto. And you've got, like, Gilbert Burns is out there. And, like, we have a ton of guys, but we're known as, frankly, the best MMA team in the world. We're an MMA super camp. 2 of the super camps in the world are ATTs. So, like, we get overlooked a lot. But he listed, there's going to be 8 teams in there, and he listed 5. And I was like, all right, I like, there's room there. There's room. Obviously, you have the big names, his team, B team, right? You've got Renzo Gracie, he's going to be nasty, Atos, whatever. I'm sure Pedigo will have a ferocious team. But, nah, I'm kind of used to people being like, oh, ATT does jiu-jitsu tournaments? Question mark.
Fair enough. All right. Isaac, I'd like to get your response to this. What did you feel like when they announced it was going to be a team format, sir?
It's a very interesting concept. It's like what Kevin was saying. There's still kind of some like mystery on what the like exact rule set is and like how they're going to approach it. I was along the same lines of thinking of like, so they're doing a quintet type of thing, but then it looks like it's not a quintet. So really more clarity. And I mean, from a marketing standpoint, I get what he's doing where there's like the mystery and the idea of, building up all this conversation, the whole reason we're doing this. I mean, bravo, good job. We're all doing it, playing the game. Got it. But the team stuff, I like it. I think it's cool. It's neat. We explored it in the PGF at one point. I remember we had like kind of the quintet style. It gave it to where it was more of, like Kevin said, it's still gamified. It's still like guys try to, like, for the lack of a better term, like cheat the game to win the game, which no, you're just sportsmanship there. Like, or that's not the word I'm looking for, but like gamesmanship where they're trying to win the game. And the team stuff, like, I just feel like that we've seen pretty decent variations of that already. And so, like, I'm interested to see how it plays out. I hope it means that we get to see more diverse, like, but I don't know if that'll be the case. Because, like, if you have a team sport, then you have people that ride the bench. And that's kind of always been one of the separating factors of combat sports is that, like, it's individualistic to the point that, like, you don't ride the bench. Like, you play the game. And now we're kind of making it that same hierarchy type thing. I don't know. And that gets off in the philosophical stuff and things like that too. But I'm interested to see. I knew he was going to pull off a number 2. The first one was so big and such like a splash in the pond that, like, there was no doubt that he was going to pull off number 2. I hope that this creates enough momentum for, like, the sport to keep growing and everybody to keep going and there to be a third. So, like, regardless of the format, I just hope it exposes something new and it's not like a repeat of something we've already seen, like in the quintet formats and those things like that. Because like we said, everybody hates stalling. So I can agree with him on the, like, this not liking the stalling, but I don't know that this is the answer to the stalling.
just want to rephrase one thing or reiterate one thing you said. I knew he was going to pull off a number 2. Is that accurate?
A CGI 2.
When you say stuff like that, my childlike mind thinks of it a certain way, but there is a kind of brilliance in it. I mean, if anybody's going to pull off a number 2, it's going to be Craig. So there is kind of
You
a
would hope
hidden
so.
genius of that. It's just the initial read was like, you keep referring to it as a number 2, and I'm thinking, like, what if he wants to go number 1 one of these days?
I don't know. There were a couple jokes in there, but I'm just not going to make them because we're on live TV. So
fair enough. All right, let me just give you guys my quick little thing here. All right, here's what I can tell you about the CGI 2 or the CGI 2 that I know of right now. So they mentioned the idea of weight classes. Yes, normally for quintets, you're just supposed to all have people who make under a certain amount of weight. In this one, in having the categories, that's interesting, but Craig has also alluded to the idea of having a group, a member that could run the whole gamut. And that would harken back to a Lachlan Giles when the BJJ Fanatics team competed at an event that Uriah Faber put together. So that's a possibility. That could be cool, but it does seem to jumble things together. They also mentioned the idea of a wild card, and I don't know what that means. Does that mean it can be one person that fluctuates weight? Is that an extra member that you can kind of tag in or have somebody work at a certain weight class? So there's a lot of unpredictable variables here for this tournament, but I like the idea of teams for this reason. Teams are easy narratives. Obviously, the $1 million makes it very AI won. But for the second one, I am intrigued why they wanted to go the teams route. It's my favorite thing to commentate because the narratives build, you tell all these great stories, and on that night, that's going to be at least, 5 times 8, about 40 different grapplers. Is it that they wanted to split up part of that cash prize? Because if you do that, you're not winning $1 million, but $200K isn't bad if your team does a lot of the great work. And let's say you're a project member that does some of it. I just find it odd that we're doing teams for this one reason, which is that it does seem like it is similar to the PGF in that for the week, there is a team format with the big prize. Whereas before, the singularity of CJI made it stand out. And when it's not an ADCC year, is it to cast a wider net so that you return back to CJI 3 the next year when it's an ADCC year and do it individually again? Or are they just seeing what they can do now? So there's a lot of variables I don't think we have the answers to just yet. But I just don't understand when they said there's more to come and they said it's a wild card element. What does that mean? So I'll ask you guys before we move on to another topic. Kevin, what does a wild card element mean to you?
It means you're basically getting an all-star team anyways. Like we're talking about quintets. There are so many teams out there that have 4 nasty motherfuckers. Like if you're looking at like Autos straight up, you're going to get both the Ruotolos. Then you can grab like Kynan, right? You can grab Lucas Barboza. And then you've just got a 5th guy who's your wild card. I don't think they even need a wild card, but you're really getting all-star teams for real. Same thing with like the Henzo Gracie guys, the B team guys. A lot of these teams, these big powerhouses, don't even need a wild card. It just means that there's probably somebody. Actually, wild cards are a great idea. I take back everything I just said in the last 60 seconds. Because there are so many people that are phenomenal, but on unknown teams that can now, like, I don't want to say unknown, and I doubt he would do this because he does have very good, his own students. Maybe he would, but like Dante Leone. I don't know that he can field like a quintet that really is in play for the $1 million.
Don't worry, Max Hansen isn't watching right now and is not an active viewer in the Instagram side. So it's not like he heard that at all. I'm going to pause you here. I'm glad you were able to have that discovery with us live. It's very funny when Kevin has the moment of clarity that goes, nah, I just take all that back.
It's like you just see the light bulb go bing.
I was thinking about it from the perspective of like, you know, the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers thing, but you got to think about like it's not actually for them. It's for the guys who don't have a team that can really make a play, so they can like free agent their way onto a powerhouse team.
So let's stop here. Isaac, I love the idea of no all-star teams. Now tell me, how does 10th Planet play this?
You're asking me as like a representative of that?
No, I'm just asking you as a panelist. But when he said no all-star teams and that they're going to have a 10th Planet team, what the hell does that mean? Because it's part of a larger umbrella, sure. But when he says real teams, is he alluding to the fact that these people have to train together so many hours? Like, what does a real team mean in 2024?
I mean, that is a good question because, like, when you bring up the 10th Planet thing, I've recently had a couple conversations with guys like this where I've been in, like, Monterrey, Mexico, and you're sitting there eating dinner with somebody that's from Germany, somebody that's from England, somebody that's from Ireland, somebody that's from Saudi Arabia, somebody that's from, and like all around the world. And then like one person that's from outside the group that's not on like the 10th Planet team, they'll be like, hey, do y'all like always do this? Like just meet up, hang out, train, all this, like anywhere. We're like, that's the team thing, right? That's why we're on the team. And so like, you know, I know that there's flaws in all teams, but I don't know. What is what defines a team? You know, does it mean you have to? Because I know Kevin's with American Top Team and they have multiple locations, right? And you guys, do y'all get together and train like that?
I have never rolled with Gilbert Burns in my fucking life. But like I'll like see him and I'll dap him up. But like guys like that are, I'm sure if we field an American Top Team, some dudes from Coconut Creek are going to be like, cool, yeah, I'm fucking in. Pantoja would be a phenomenal 66 kilo guy. So like you're going to have people that are like, I'm fucking in there, bro, for the million that I've never fucking trained with in my life, but they're American Top Team. Shit, if you really break it down, like me and Paul and Sergio and Ernesto are all on different fucking teams. We're all different locations. Like Ernesto's a coach at American Top Team Sandy Springs, the coach at American Top Team Sandy Springs. I'm at Lima. Those two guys are at Atlanta and Superfly interchangeably.
So
we train every week, but yeah,
would be like, Raf, like why has this not happened before in the sport? Like why is it all of a sudden now, like because Craig's doing his thing, all the teams are going to suddenly rally together to get paid? Is it the $1 million prize? Is that what makes it? Or like what? Yeah, I like how quickly Kevin said that. He's like, yes, that's absolutely it.
Bro, Gilbert Burns helps me win my $1 million. He's my best friend.
I mean, I feel you. There's sayings that go along with that.
You ever see like the fucking back when Kyrie Irving said that the Earth is flat, and they asked LeBron about that? It was during the playoffs when they were on the same team. They're both on the Cavs. And they asked LeBron, they're like, how do you feel about him insisting that the earth is flat? And LeBron looks dead into the reporter's eyes and goes, you're talking about my point guard? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, if he says it's flat, it's flat. Let's play ball. It's like, I don't give a fuck, bro. We're playing for keeps here. I don't give a shit.
I feel you.
Someone needs to snag that. That's a perfect CJI meme for 10th Planet.
So I think we've exhausted this. We're going to move on to our second topic right now, which is with all these happenings at CJI 2, we're talking about the actual tournament, the showcase, if you would. But there's going to be some crazy super fights. Kevin, you pitched this, so you're going to go first on it. You were wondering what kind of super fights you would like to see, so I'm going to give the board to you first, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think just for comedy's sake, it would be really funny to have Gordon Ryan on CJI, and now that he said that he's not doing ADCC, I would love for him to join the ranks of the Cockroaches. But that's probably not going to happen, right? I feel like Gordon's sitting well enough financially and has enough I'll say pride to like he's not going to fold on that one for for $1 million. Craig will have that on him forever. I'm really intrigued to see who Craig can pull out of there. I'd like to see some big name UFC stars now that we're making like real money. This is what I'm excited to see. Now that jiu-jitsu has like real mainstream money, can we get UFC stars? Can we get actual celebrities? I legit want to see guys like Tom Hardy roll. You posted that like clip for the brackets, and I was like, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool to have like celebrity deathmatch on CJI. I want to see that. It doesn't have to be like the best jiu-jitsu in the world. I want to see Tom Hardy versus I don't fucking know who else does jiu-jitsu.
So you have Tom Hardy as one side of it, but not who he's fighting.
Tom Hardy versus Craig Jones. Let's run it. Sign the contract.
Keanu Reeves.
Stop ducking.
Let's do
Keanu Reeves,
Tom Hardy versus Keanu.
Dude,
Keanu.
I would love that. That would be phenomenal. Tom Hardy versus like Bane versus John Wick. Don't even let them go by their real names. Bane versus John Wick celebrity deathmatch. Let's go.
Do you know who an OG jiu-jitsu guy that was an actor is? The guy from Boondock Saints that played the younger brother.
Patrick Flannery, I think.
No, not that. That's the main like whitebeard guy, the younger brother.
Nathan Reedus?
That sounds right. I don't know.
He's
They all
in
trained
Walking
jiu-jitsu.
Dead, right?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I didn't know he trained a ton, but like
he was training back then.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, dude, Tom Hardy is that's a hard. He might be.
I mean, why would you not be?
I mean, listen, it's not for us to decide or to speculate wildly, except if you're Kevin Sherrill specifically.
I love throwing that accusation out.
Yeah. But
Paul R. Diaz on steroids.
Wow.
I mean,
the worst part is,
do I need a space?
If Paul chose to respond to that, it would be very funny. But there is a possibility you see Paul at some point digitally. It depends on how things shake out in the bracket, though, so we'll see. But nonetheless, I'll ask you, Isaac, do you have any pitches for super fights?
The celebrity deathmatch I think is a good idea. I had that same thought because a lot of these aging grapplers, I don't really want to watch them roll, to be honest, because like I've seen them roll and we've seen them at their prime, and especially after this, like I've had this conversation after the Mike Tyson thing, like, do you really want to watch that? Like, are we really at that point in society where we want to watch our old warriors just get buried by the new ones and like in weird, fantastic ways? And that, like, I don't want to watch that, So like, there's some of the guys that are still kind of like, if we're talking about the Sizzos and like nothing being off the table, like some of these guys still have a few years left in the tank, especially if they're playing. But, I would want to watch it in a rule set that allows for it to be fun for them to like try to play the game. And I don't care who loses and who wins. I want to see them play their jiu-jitsu game. And so like whatever rule set opens that up to them, that's what I would want to see it in, if we're talking about honestly putting it that way.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go ahead and make my pitch here because there was a lot of notes about this, I guess, earlier in the year. But I think we could be considering somebody else. What about a star like Demi Lovato, who is a blue belt right now? Why don't we have her take on Giselle? Because Giselle famously has a very prominent coach that has been teaching her kids. I'm sure she's probably getting lessons on the side. So why not? Last year, if you're not going to do more in the women's quality and the categories, then give the women an equal chance for the celebrity matches. That's all. And I know there are
Ashton
more.
Kutcher, I think, is a brown belt, right?
He is.
Ashton Kutcher could go out there.
He is a brown belt. You're right.
He is a brown belt.
Ashton versus Tom, maybe not. We'll see.
Ashton versus Demi.
Demi Lovato, not Demi Moore. He famously dated Demi Moore, so he's just going to take on all the Demis.
Yeah.
And the
We all
marketing
just want
writes
some more
itself,
live
Raph.
stream.
The marketing. I already see the poster.
Can you imagine in Kevin's version, he's just like, he just didn't remember which Demi he did, so he's like, you?
He just wanted
Sounds
some
good.
more.
Just, wow. This is
Oh,
terrible. Nonetheless, I am excited to see what they put together, because if the super fights are going to be the singular matches that have notoriety, I think that's interesting. And I guess it begs the question, are they doing 2 prelims day 1 and then semis and finals day 2? And then additionally, so I wonder how they break up all that sort of stuff. And I guess 3, this is the one I keep coming back to, which is day. That could be a lot of fun. But I don't know that it's going to happen necessarily a ton in that race. So there's a lot of kind of external factors I haven't quite figured out about this, but there's a lot to talk about. We'll go to our next topic right now as well, which is that, listen, this is one that Kevin pitched as well. Craig is now doing a documentary, for better or worse, is called Parts Unblown. Now, I think the question that Kevin has here is it real? And Kevin, explain why you are skeptical of it and why you're questioning its authenticity.
I mean, yeah, because it's Craig Jones. For the first few months of CJI1's announcement, like I was like, okay, really though? Like, is this like are we you for real? Like you're doing a thing? Like B Team being the name of his gym was for like, or their gym was like for a while. I was like, are we like really like that's the name? I never really know with this guy. So like, yeah, I mean, for a long time, the intergender match wasn't a real thing. It was like 2 years of them joking about it. So I don't really know. I hope it's real. It would be really cool for Craig, and I think he'd be the guy to do it, to establish, yeah, like you can turn jujitsu into like a lifestyle thing. Like that can be a, you know how like rappers, it's more than rap. Like you're having people buy into like these people as personalities. I would love for jujitsu athletes to like finally start developing a little bit of a personality, and not just, oh yeah, respect and honor, and I want to thank my coaches, and like actually learn to talk and learn to sell yourself. And I think that would pave the way for it.
Thank you for that. I'm going to turn to you now, Isaac. What are your thoughts?
So my initial reaction is that sigh. As I hear Kevin talk, I agree with him. I like what Craig's done for the community. I like what Craig's like pushed forward and the type of stuff. I feel like sometimes he goes heavy in the paint, and it's in a way that like it makes it hard to actually like keep pushing us into the direction that we're trying to as a community and as a sport. But then the like punk rock DIY like version of my brain goes, no, this is what you're supposed to do. So him being an individual and like making his stuff the way he makes it, I like it and I can get behind it. And he works with like pretty good professionals. Like I've worked with a couple of the creatives and stuff that work around him, and like he does a good job. Like there's a reason that he's made what he's made. So I'll be interested to see it. I'll probably watch it. Like I'm always interested to see what the community's making and what everybody creates. But it's interesting, and the nod towards the Bourdain I can appreciate, as long as it's respected in the way that it's like presented, and it's not something that's like super cringy. And I even feel cringy calling it cringy on the internet.
I think the idea is with Craig, it's almost like the inverse happens, where they're jokes that sound like jokes that become reality. So when he calls something Parts Unblown, there's definitely a pun to it that is alluding to the idea of Anthony Bourdain and what he did. And Anthony Bourdain was very tied to the jiu-jitsu community in terms of his love and explorations and encouraging people to find a healthy outlet like that. Having said that, because it's Craig, you go, is there an additional joke here that I'm not aware of? And it seems that you start to learn about other cultures or other subgenres or things, and it seems very playful. And then you see somebody going, "Hey, Dad, fun. Is this like a scripted element?" But as somebody who works in TV, I have to tell you that line has been blurred for years. So it's not necessarily something new in that respect. It is kind of odd to see those things happen, but nonetheless, like, it's been working. Like, it's been very interesting to see how people get excited about these sorts of shows. And it's kind of cool that we in jiu-jitsu have some stuff that is starting to get more and more detail and attention. So I guess the idea is, let's see what it looks like. But when he talks about being a travel show host, I'm thinking to myself, I just don't know what it is. And I can tell you, even when it's probably going to get serious, he's still going to be very, very funny in how he approaches it, because it's hard to imagine him not doing that. So those are just the casual observations I have to begin with. But who knows? Maybe it's all going to be a sequel to The Naked Gun, and we just don't know it yet. Or something to that effect, where it's going to be like, oh, just kidding, it was a whole joke the whole time. And we get there. I wanted to bring this up. Wallow J sent us a very nice message. Says, "Hello, fellas. Hope you all have a great Christmas." Thank you very much about that. We appreciate that. I'm a happy holidays person, so how dare you, sir? How dare you not know that I know that? Also, I don't care. I, like, half the time, if someone says Christmas to me, it doesn't burn me.
Merry Chrysler.
Yeah, Merry Chrysler.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Holidays is very funny because even as you start to say it, like, I always like to see the look on someone's face as they say it, because that to me is more interesting than the authenticity of whether they mean it or not. Because as they say it, you can get that look that goes, "Hey man, happy holidays." Or you get the people who are like, "Hey, happy holidays." You're like, "Oh, you mean it." I don't think the first guy did. I think you actually mean happy holidays. That person hates the fact that he has to say holidays. That's fun.
I like the Merry Christmas. I like, Merry Christmas. And then if somebody is like, well, I don't really do that, I go, okay, then don't then. I don't know why. Like, it doesn't. You can have a good day or not, bro. The day exists. You don't have to enjoy it. I guess that's on you. You can do whatever you want.
Amazing, gentlemen.
I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but I hope I have a good one, man.
I hope it's a good one for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next topic. And Isaac, I'm going to give you the floor on this one because you were the one that had eyes and ears. But I was wondering, is there stuff that we didn't see at Jiu-Jitsu Overdose? We famously did some pre and post shows here at the Bullpen, but I'd like to get an eyewitness account. So was there stuff that we didn't see? And if so, what was some of the stuff that we didn't see, sir?
Well, the things that I don't even know. Did y'all see? Has it come full circle on the?
No, it's all. You should definitely talk about it because it's all kosher to talk about.
I feel like that was the little, like, it was like the little devil that pops up on your shoulder telling you to.
Taken, friend. Liberties were made to be taken. You go ahead and do that.
Eddie Bravo overdosed on jiu-jitsu at the Jiu-Jitsu Overdose. That's the news I'm breaking. So it was tons of jiu-jitsu. There was a little bit of comedy, and then there was a lot of just sun and what I don't know. Have y'all ever experienced an all-inclusive resort? Because I mean, when they say all-inclusive, I mean there's a buffet there for like 19 hours. 18 hours out of the day. So, there's food, there's jiu-jitsu, there's a beach, there were seminars. Eddie named a new move. I don't know if y'all saw that on the internet. And we saw a bunch of really, really, really exciting brackets because every single night delivered on the jiu-jitsu. There wasn't a single night that wasn't. I might have maybe not have put EBI right in between all of the combat jiu-jitsu because that kind of felt like you were like, oh my God, everybody's getting slapped. This is crazy. And then EBI was crazy in itself. Like the whole way it played out, there were some people that died. Like it was great, but it was slower because there weren't slaps. And so that kind of pointed out how people enjoy violence. We know that people want blood. So It was really good. The combat jiu-jitsu shows here in Mexico are ecstatic. They are fun. It reminds me of like my favorite time period in MMA was like 2008, 9 to like 2012, 2013 in the Southeast. It was lawless. It was crazy. People were fighting in like abandoned buildings and like in farmhouses. It was crazy. So bunch of the quality of the mats is nice, everything is nice, the production's really good, but then the crowd is just as into it as like ever. Like everybody's excited, people are getting slapped and people are getting submitted, and there's all kinds of like excitement that happens in the show. So like it was fun, and plus it so exactly what they sold was it was jiu-jitsu overdose. Like it was all the homies that were doing jiu-jitsu. We were hanging out. There was a late night rave slash open mat on the last night. And some people that were not 10th Planet were kind of blown away when they walked in. They were like, it's 11 o'clock at night and everybody's out here rolling and doing jiu-jitsu. This is crazy. So
let me get back to that, because you mentioned that there was it a rave that night? Because I thought the rave was happening next year.
No, the rave and the open mat. All right, look, you have to understand about 10th Planet guys. We like to like paint outside the lines. Schedules mean nothing to these people. And so we got to a point that evening that they couldn't really decide what everybody wanted to do. And they were like, you know what? Let's have a rave and an open mat to close out the weekend. And everybody's like, yeah, let's do that. And so then everybody showed up. And there was a DJ and it was no, they weren't playing a DJ. They were just playing it over the PA, but they were like talking about next year having a DJ for the rave. So that may be where you got that information, where they were like, there's going to be a rave. But they had like lights going and everybody was rolling. And it was like a really cool, like, if you're like that type of jiu-jitsu head that just loves to do jiu-jitsu, like at any given moment, I'd love to be in an open mat. Like I'm headed there here in just a little bit to go train tonight. Like, every chance I can get on an open mat, I'm on an open mat. And so like the same type people were kind of there for the camp. And so you're hanging out and it's 11 o'clock at night and all the homies are out there rolling and they've got like music playing and it's like a big party. It's like, it was super fun.
Okay. Now the weird place I got my information from was Eddie at the end of the show, who said, next year there's going to be a rave. And I said, oh, so that's a next year thing. And then you come on and tell me like, oh, the rave was amazing. And I go, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why would you promote that for next year? And then just like, I'm screwed. We're doing it today.
Kevin, back me up here. This is very much an improv thing that 10th Planet guys like to do. And like I said, it wasn't a true rave. I would imagine
if you suggest the idea in the room full of those guys, of course it's going to happen. They're going to next year.
Somebody's going to do it. Yeah.
Right now.
How do you think we ended up with the PGF? Like literally that's exactly how that got made.
I just was hoping that it was not going to be the Matrix People of Zion rave, because I think that's one of the worst moments in that film. And there are many in the sequels that were unnecessary. Nonetheless, we will now forge on to our next topic, which very glad that you went. Thank you again for all your hard work, sir. We appreciate it. It was very fun to see it from that other side and getting some peeks in here. We did mention we were going to bring this back up, so I feel like it's time to go ahead and address this. Kevin, do you have feelings on the bracket? I'll ask you to kind of walk me through anything that has kind of piqued your interest as you have been watching, because to me, I know when that bracket was released, it had definitely touched a nerve because you leaked it. And then not only leaked it, but then casually assured me in the most Kevin Sherrill of ways, like, oh, I just figured you'd want that to happen. And I was like, oh, would I have? Well, that's very interesting for you to have made that assumption, sir. So what exactly were you thinking and feeling as you saw these things play out? That is not the bracket.
That's
a different
bracket. Thinking.
Whoa, that's a different bracket.
That is a very different bracket. But go on, Kevin.
I was thinking you are welcome, Raf.
No, don't do that. Don't.
Happy to help.
The worst part that you could do to anybody like me, a meticulous planner, is antagonize me with your fucking "you're welcome," and I was like, you could get the fuck out of here with your welcome. That's why every time you start talking about like, I did all this work and set up this microphone, I'm like, don't make me do the fucking trump card that I have.
Yeah, I saw who was on my side of the bracket, and I was like, this definitely wasn't intended to be shared, but I'm on this side of the bracket. And so's Cam Hurd, Travis Thomas, Paul Ardea, Chris Wojcik, Tim. And I was like, so I can just tag all these people and start the shit talk now. And one of my jiu-jitsu, we'll say mentors and coaches, Sergio, has always urged me that you talk shit immediately every time.
Sergio,
the second it's
Sergio's
viable,
the one
you
that
go.
tells you this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got on to me. I don't know if I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Yeah, we were talking about having Brad Schneider on the show on the PGF because his first day he lost shit to me last year about how I didn't belong on the PGF the previous season. Was with Max, Elijah, and Canuto, and then he got submitted 3 times in a row. And I was like, bro, I really want to have him on the show and ask, like, hey, man, so how's it feel now that you've been submitted more times than I have in my whole career in 4 seasons of the PGF? Like, how's that feel? And then he ended up scoring, and a bunch of people got injured, and he ended up being in a good place right in the middle of the road. And I was like, fuck, I can't talk shit anymore. And Sergio was like, yeah, you fucked up. You talk shit immediately every time. And he goes, even if it ends up not looking good in hindsight, like, things change, Brad does well, has a good season, it doesn't matter. You still got
Just
your
go
shots in, bro. Yeah, dude, you still won round 1. It doesn't matter what happened in 2 and 3. You won round 1. And, like, if you win round 2 and 3, that's even better. But don't worry about them. Don't wait for the punch. Don't let it build. Just go. So I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I can start talking shit to these guys immediately. Like, let's fucking go. I do think our side of the board is fucking stacked.
I was about to ask you if you wouldn't mind walking us through your thoughts on this bracket. So go ahead and tell us what your feelings were as you saw these, Kevin.
Yeah, so when you look at the left side of the bracket, you see nobody important, and then when you slide over...
Hold on.
Wait, all I see is RAF.
You see me on my shitty
perfect
thing, but I'm about to do something.
Yeah, just
unusual.
Paste me... Oh, perfect, exactly where I belong.
Well, you know what the weird part is, hold on. I want to make sure you understand. This is just giving you a taste of what it could be like if you did well. But I think you were looking at your next round. I'm going to screen cap
this and print it out like it's fact. Yeah, if you look at the left side of the bracket, wait, where am I going? This one. This side of the bracket, you see nobody important. And then if you go over to that side of the bracket, you see me. And you also see like a Travis Thomas, Cam Hurd can get people motivated. You got Chris Wojcik and Tim Freeman both have like good followings. In a popularity contest, I would rather be on the other side of the board with the people who like maybe don't care as much, or maybe I don't know that bottom corner of Jokage and Happy Rolling, like they feel like they'd get involved. They'd get pretty motivated about it. I'm trying to like win this sheerly off of giving the most fucks, like sharing it 400 times, getting people invested, offering private lessons if they vote, and then absolutely not following through on that. Like, I'm doing everything I can. I'm getting real political up in here. I'm looking at every trick in the book, man. I'm going to tell people they can be in my cabinet if they get me a certain amount of votes. We got to get some funding for this campaign.
Walk us through this. Who do you think you're going to see in the semis? Like, how do you see this playing out? So give me your semifinalists.
Semifinalists, if I can get through, I think Chris is going to beat Elijah. Probably. Just, he's got, it depends whether he posts the vote on the Grappler's Diary, but if he does, I think we're all cooked. But I think it's going to be me and Chris. If I can get through Chris, it's going to be me. And then Travis Thomas. And then Alex Enriquez or Musa. Musa? I know him through the clip you posted, which was hilarious. So I'm going with him. And then down on the bottom, I have no fucking idea. None whatsoever. Okay. All of those guys I feel like could rally some support. Obviously, like Brian Peterson's a fan of the show, so he's going to be invested. And it just depends who's motivated and who shares it around, because everyone has relatively low vote counts right now. If you get 8 friends, which is like a group chat. I know we're like jiu-jitsu guys, we don't have that many friends, but if you get 8 friends, you can win the vote. Unless you're in me and Tim, who apparently we've rallied a small township to fucking vote in this thing. But if most of these votes have like less than 50 votes on them so far, send it to your group chat and it's a wrap. David Garmo, you own a gym. Tell people to vote before they get on the mat. Like, what are you doing? So I think, I don't know who's going to win that bottom left corner, but I think it's probably going to be Moose. And then whoever makes it out of that little melee.
That brings me to an interesting point here, Kevin, which is you and Tim have done such a good job promoting this contest between each other. It begs the question, could you do it with the show? Because I looked at this and I said, wow, Tim and Kevin really pull their resources together when it has to do against going head to head against one another. I've never seen either of you plug this show in the way that you have plugged this competition. Explain yourself, please.
I can't win the show.
What do you mean you can't win the show? You're on the show. You won. Kevin, we literally held a Willy Wonka competition to have a third host. You won it. We told you you won it, and you were like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, you're like, that's cool. I'll reshare this. Then when I mean, it's like you versus Tim. It's like, hold on. I'm sorry. What? Hold on. How many group chats do I have? 400. Great. Every one of them is getting it twice. And then I looked at myself and was like, this could really be a good thing if we had a show that perhaps aired weekly and could be plugged weekly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like when you the effort you put in when you're trying to date the girl and you're trying to prove that you're like, yeah, no, listen, baby, it's me and you forever. And then she's like, yeah, we should settle down together. And you're like, perfect, no longer interested. Video games it is.
Okay. I'm glad we were able to clear that up because for whatever reason, I thought you had a solid explanation for not.
That's the most handsome Kevin answer I could have thought up. I couldn't have written it better.
But it's also
listen. You want truth. You want honesty.
It's just also incredibly stupid because he's just like, I know how to harm these guys. I'll do nothing. Kevin, you're on the show. Oh right, damn.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You got yelled at.
I think I'm actually going to have everybody. We're at Team Promotions on tomorrow. Team Promotions tomorrow at ATT, and I'm actually going to make an announcement and be like, hey, everybody pull out your Instagram and fucking vote right now.
You're just going to see a sudden tick.
Just fucking 500 I want grab your phone. Too fast. You don't even go to my fucking profile.
This may influence me just to go throw my vote elsewhere, Kevin.
Bro, it's fucking. A few of my friends have done that. They've been like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm voting Tim." I'm sure a bunch of those group chats, like they sent it to like local gyms, and they're like, "Yeah, vote for Kevin," and they're like, "The guy that fucking rips my legs apart for no reason." No, the dude that heel hooks white belts, I'm voting for the other guy. Fuck that. I'm probably boosting a lot of Tim's votes
Kevin's
as well.
The only person who made it competitive by putting it in his own groups.
It's weird.
It was like a 50-50 split in his own groups.
Yeah, I was about to say, I like started tipping it Tim's way by throwing it to the local Atlanta scene, and they were just like, oh yeah, fuck that guy.
I will tell you this. I was surprised you guys have been the most popular vote this round. But we'll see what happens next round because I'll tell you this right now. It's looking pretty good for Wojcik. But I have one true test here. And this is usually telling on if people are going to go a little bit further. Wojcik has added himself as a co-author. Because when the people don't add themselves as a co-author, I'm like, you're only hurting yourself on the vote.
I'm going to start sending Wojcik's vote around and telling people to vote for Elijah Dorsey.
Wow. campaigning.
I'm gonna start.
Try and get
I'm gonna start stacking the bracket, bro.
Favorable to you. Kevin doesn't want to win ADCC. He just wants to kind of like show up and have everybody get sick.
I would love if I pulled up to like the PGF and there were 19 people who pulled out because they got sick. Oh my God. Yeah, thanks. I'll take $40,000. Peace.
I was like, wait, it almost happened. So I don't know how much more injuries we want for us to see in this next year. Kevin, you put up this topic. We forge ahead to the next one. And I thought this was intriguing for a certain reason, which is, listen, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with exclusive contracts or the money that is being exchanged in the CJI, or even just for these other tournaments that maybe, like the PGF, give out $100K to some people. That's some life-changing money. But you were wondering which UFC/MMA stars will make the leap into We Have Money BJJ, which, by the way, is the most awkwardly written prompt I have read on the show. But nonetheless, I still understand what you mean. So, Kevin, since this is your prompt, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, we're in the We Have Money era of BJJ. It's very surprising. So guys like Diego Lima was telling me this week, he was like, yeah, he got an offer to be on the Fight Pass Invitational, and was like, I'm kind of fat and out of shape. I don't want to do it. I think they wanted him to fight like Sean Brady, do a jiu-jitsu match with Sean Brady. Tough. And he was like, yeah, that guy's really good to take on like 4 days notice. And so like, I think the money's getting a little more enticing and jiu-jitsu's getting a little more respect and popularity, where there actually is something in there for MMA guys to like step in, especially if you do those like, not really handshake agreements, but like we won't do heel hooks agreements. And I do think a lot of jiu-jitsu guys know that like if you're going to go up against a jiu-jitsu MMA guy, it's like if you're getting the chance to go against Chael Sonnen for a super fight, don't rip his fucking leg apart, because you're never going to get another matchup like that again. I would love to see like Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo in a grappling match. That would be so fun to me. A lot of these like retired guys that aren't necessarily wanting to jeopardize their current career in MMA, but they moved out and they'll take, you know, $10,000, $20,000 to pull up and do some jiu-jitsu with another MMA guy that they feel is on par with them. I would love to see some of that. So yeah, that's my dream match. I would be Henry Cejudo and DJ. That would be cool. I would love to see John Jones do some jiu-jitsu. That would be really cool. He had that match with Dan Henderson on Submission Underground. That was really impressive to me. So I would love to see some of those guys make their way over to pure grappling and show what they've got, because I imagine they can fucking style a little bit if they're not worried about getting punched in the face.
Thank you for that. Isaac, do you have any matches or individuals that you think could get that we got money aspect to their lives?
I mean, I kind of have a rebuttal to Kevin, because honestly, I feel like that the MMA guys are annoying when they come into the jiu-jitsu world sometimes, because the flip side of what you're saying of that they don't have to worry about getting punched in the face. Then they complain when they can't get their jiu-jitsu to work. They're like, oh, well, if I could punch you in the face, I could make it work. You're like, yes, but that's not the game we're playing. So I could agree with you on the heel hook thing, even though it makes me like cringe. I don't want to see like those go away, because it's like, if we're going to play the game, just maybe we stop trying to blow each other's legs out when we're in those type of games. Like, just get to the position, and maybe you don't force me to break your leg. And we like have like the gentleman's like dream matchups. I think that the MMA guys that are at the top that have the jiu-jitsu that I'm searching for the name in my head right now, but Oliveira, is that who I'm trying to think of? I believe that would be like somebody, somebody like that would be interested. Like literally, they have some of the best jiu-jitsu of that. He just falls down in front of people, unless it's like, that'd be fun to watch him in a real jiu-jitsu match. And so I think, again, it's like a shout out real quick back to the like something a lesson that we've learned from the PGF is that like you can't play the game that guys are playing where they just get broke off. The thing that the MMA guys are scared of, the jiu-jitsu athletes should be afraid of too. So maybe we should like tap earlier and like have a better actual sport agreement on what we're doing, but don't limit it and don't take away the movement. Just understand that we're both professional athletes, and just because I am capable of blowing your leg out doesn't mean that I'm going to.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Did that answer the question?
The thing that came to my head, not to cut you off, Raph, but is the thought of like quarterbacks sliding, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was recently that like faked a slide. It's not super recent, a few years ago. Is in the NFL, like faked a slide and went for an extra like 10, 15 yards. And the defensive players were super fucking heated, and they were like, bro, we are 300 pounds that can hit you, like that can run a sub 5 second 40, right? Like we can hit you hard as fuck, and we don't, because we're all professionals playing a game, and you respect the threat of what could happen to you. The second you start taking advantage of us being fucking nice about this game, you're gonna get lit the fuck up. I cannot remember who it was, but like I like that game a lot. Of like, act you can. Like I've seen it. It's all good.
Yeah, like getting to that point where we can be like in the gamesmanship of this versus being like, oh, we can force their leg out. Yeah. That's how I think we could get the guys with the big money to come over. Sorry, Raph.
No, you're good. I do feel like I just wonder what the upside is. I always wonder, like, how much are they actually bringing to us? Because I think that we're already elevating without them. They just seem like they're taking more of the pie from the actual proceeds that we could pay people. And if so,
that's fair.
What is it that we're looking to get from them? Because the weird part of this is, as we start to equate, I want people to really look at their budgets and say, like, what is the pro con of having an athlete? How many more viewers do you think you're going to get? It's the same equation you have to put for Gordon, which is like, clearly he could get eyeballs on him, but he's not going to be cost effective in a market where jiu-jitsu is necessarily going to be able to trend when he starts to deplete as an athlete. Like his monetary value, much even like Conor McGregor, where it's like the biggest draw, but then over time that starts to slide down. When you see the slide down happening, they're probably going to be trying to charge more, as they should, but that doesn't mean you need to meet them at that price. So for us, Gordon's always going to be a draw, but like, what's worth paying? And then ask yourself, why are you not building up these new athletes to become your showcase stars, to become that build, as people are very interested in the right demographics? So I feel like some of those things are going to change, and I'm curious to find out who those people, now that we got money, kind of folks come into it. But I mean, even if you see some of these people who are like Chase Hooper, who it's like, man, he has a good following, not like the biggest in the world, but still like very active. He'll go take a super fight. That's an interesting person to put in. That's probably affordable. There's a number. I mean, Sean Brady, very smart.
Cody Durden's looking for one right now.
I mean, Cody Durden's really like fun to watch.
He's like, I want to do some jiu-jitsu, man. Like, I got another fight, but I want to put some time, invest some time into some skill sets, and in the meantime, I want to do some jiu-jitsu. So, shout out any fucking promoters who are looking to book UFC star.
And I mean, think about it. If the UFC is signing these exclusive deals, is it not going to be an inevitable thing where you're going to get some of these jiu-jitsu guys matched against some of these MMA stars? Yeah. So I guess it just begs a few questions on, what did they have in mind? What does Craig Jones Invitational have in mind? And then what does next year's ADCC trials look like? Because people forget, it's not an ADCC. There will be a trials process, and that's going to take some people off the market who are normally very fun to watch. So a lot of question marks as we go into 2025. But for those first 6-7 months, kind of an open time. And then even if you look at that May card, AIGA, there's still going to be teams. And there's going to be a 10th Planet team. There's going to be a Checkmat team. There's going to be that Team Acai. There's going to be a Team Modolfo. There's still a lot of guys who are going for stuff. And that's the only thing I wanted to add about the Craig Jones Invitational is that I do wonder how it separates itself or if it's intentionally done to try and show Aiga that you can make it more exciting. Like last time they came after the individualness of ADCC because that was the mechanism. Here, I wonder now if they're trying to tell people we can do any format and we have the flexibility to make it interesting. Because them going after a team's tournament to offer $1 million seems very interesting when that's the prize that you can get for Aiga. So, stuff to consider. Gentlemen, this week there was no Tim to supply us with a fight, so unfortunately there is none, and thus we have made it. The only other gallery edition I have is just from Wallow, who just says Feliz Navidad then. Well, hey man, listen. I don't understand Spanish either, so it's rude of you to assume that. Weird. Nonetheless.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad means Happy New Year, Raf, just so you know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, speaking of, we do have some things to take care of before we sign off.
De nada.
Shut up. The next thing we can look at is we can look at the end of the year, and if the children have done their homework properly, you guys will see 10 of the best clips, not just from me, not just from Tim, not just from Kevin, but from all three of us. So that means you're going to see a top 10 from Kevin, a top 10 from Tim, and a top 10 from myself, Raf. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch. The Grappling Hour is still doing 2 different things this week. We'll have our top 10 countdown of our top 10 guests. So those are the people who were featured on the original version of the show. So those are just interviews. It's not running the gauntlet. It's not any of the bullpen stuff. Just top 10 interviews from Grappling Hour original crispy style. Then there's also going to be a top 10 countdown of our best clips from the year from the Grappling Hour shows, and I think you guys will enjoy those. So that's what we got coming up, just to let you guys know. And let's give you guys some time to plug your stuff. I'm going to start with you. Isaac, tell the people where they can see you, sir.
I'm the Wondering Grappler on most of all the internets, and then I've got another thing that I'm kind of reviving is the Daily Stack, which is kind of some jiu-jitsu content going up that I've been accumulating over the years and whatnot, and so that's coming. Me and Steven have a podcast together. That's the Dream Show Live. It's every Wednesday, 10 a.m. ish somewhere in the world. So it's around 10 a.m. Central and around 9 a.m. Eastern. And then, I'm all over the planet. I'm going to be in the Southeast for the next couple weeks. So if anybody wants to have me hang around, hit me up.
Sounds good. Isaac, thank you for joining us today. Kevin, plug your stuff as well. Good, sir.
Yeah, Kevin Grapples on Instagram. You can come train with me at American Top Team Lima in Duluth, Georgia, or Superfly in Decatur, Georgia. I'll be cornering a bunch of my guys for Fight to Win in Atlanta, January 4th. I'll be cornering Reese Watkins on Fury, Baby Goose, January 11th. And then something else is happening that month also, and they're just going to have to be okay because I can't remember who it is.
Wow. Good coach. Do you have any appeal that you want to go ahead and make for your last?
Oh, it's the fucking PGF qualifiers. Never mind. They're fine. They'll do fine without my plug. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas, Mom.
Very sweet. Merry Christmas, Mama Cheryl. Well, gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to close up, but I'm going to let you guys get on out of here. And to conclude today's episode, we're going to take a look at a 17-minute video that Isaac put together. We appreciate it. It's some great background information and behind-the-scenes stuff that happened at Jiu-Jitsu Overdose. But on behalf of all of us today, thank you guys for tuning in.
Day 4.
It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you guys back on the mats. Hold on, I gotta find the right thing.
It's day 4, by the way.
No,
that was a great close.
Just kidding. We're not going anywhere.
Jade Robledo, your favorite 10 Planet Princess, here from Jiu-Jitsu Overdose, day 4. Today is Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, and we're about to start the rule meetings. Have Eddie Bravo, Victor Davila, Mike Beltran, and everyone waiting to hear what's new on the rules, because we know that there's been combat jiu-jitsu where they suddenly pop up with a new rule. I don't think this is going to be the case because we already had 2 shows with those rule sets. So But well, you never know. Already began since the morning with the Martinez brothers, with Gio and Boogeyman. They were talking about rubber guard and bird traps and a lot of witchery. So it's been really packed, really awesome.
Hoy ya vamos a empezar el evento, estamos a minutos de comenzar este pedo. Van a haber muchos golpes, bueno, muchos cachetados, muchos slaps, esas de padrastro y pues mucho jiu-jitsu, entonces todos estamos chidos.
Sí estamos.
Oh, sí estamos, a huevo. Yo quiero estar como tú, perro, como tú, nada más como tú.
I'm really excited about seeing Matt again on combat jiu-jitsu mats, just because his last performance was really really impressive, really nice, good jiu-jitsu, good balls. That was smart from him. He was starting to get an angle where he were going to start hitting. He was smart. Nice entry.
Your referee for this opening round bout is Master Vic, Victor Dodd.
My name is Matt Mosh. I'm a 19-year-old purple belt. I come out of New York, upstate New York, in Wappingers Falls area. I train out of Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, and I've been training about five or 6 years now.
Last time we saw you in Mexico City on Combat Jiu-Jitsu World with an outstanding performance, like being like a runner-up from that weight division, and right now you're here. Tell me, how are you different from that past match?
So last time it was at 45. It was a great experience. You know, I learned a lot. For it being, you know, my first combat jiu-jitsu tournament, let alone at that level, it was a big step, you know, and stepping up was huge. And so like the experience level and kind of just like my game and honestly the setting, I brought all of that into the, you know, drawing board, and I kind of, you know, touched it up, worked on it, stuff like that. And now we're here. I mean, I couldn't feel any better, stuff like that. It's an honor to even be here, honestly, at my age. So honestly, experience and my game has grown so much from it. After this, I was thinking, because I know that's going on now, so Nogi Worlds, Pan, stuff like that. I'd like to get on a WNO card. Honestly, any high-profile matches I'm looking for, and I just want to have fun. So if they want me to do more combat jiu-jitsu, I'm here. I love the crowd, stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel much better. I feel like I've improved in all areas, even, you know, just mentally, you know. So I'm happy, and I feel much better than ever.
Is something different you work like this time that you feel that maybe it's mentally, maybe it's physically? How do you feel, like in which way you feel different from all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever worked harder, you know. I think I'm working hard as ever, and I feel like I'm constantly getting better and like focusing on getting better, and that's made a huge difference.
Hi guys, my name is JJ Bowers. I'm fighting out of Mesa, Arizona. I'm 18 years old and I'm about to take this whole world by storm, I promise. It's just all I've been training for my entire life. Forgot to take my mouth guard out, that's how in it I am. But yeah, my name is JJ Bowers, don't forget it.
What are you looking forward to show off on your jiu-jitsu tonight?
Honestly, I feel like I don't wrestle enough when I do jiu-jitsu, so I just wanted to blast double somebody off the rip, and then I did it twice. So takedowns and you know, just keeping that top pressure the whole time. If you smack someone enough, they'll let go of you. My next match is gonna be against Keith Krikorian. It's gonna be a great match. That's gonna be it's one of my toughest challenges yet. But I feel like I have the skill set to go out there and beat him any way I want to. But all respect to everybody in this game. There's so many killers. Anything can happen at any time, and I appreciate everybody that comes through and watches this kind of shit, because you see how awesome these events are that we put up. You know, it's like great matches happen all the time. It gives me a platform. It gives Eddie a platform. It gives everybody around the world a platform to do what they want to do with their life. So I appreciate it.
Representing Penguin Jiu-Jitsu, here is King Chris.
Bill, that was crazy.
I feel excited now. I just feel like I got a whole new breath of wind. I've expelled almost no energy yet. I know it's only been 6 minutes of rolling so far, and I'm in the semifinals. This feels insane. I just want to say thank you, God. You know, that's all.
That was great.
Thank you so much. I feel like I have great defensive wrestling, and I felt me and Keith's head smack right into each other. We both got like a mini concussion right there at the same time, but I shrugged it off, and then he started to shoot wildly, and I caught him with the same anaconda that I caught the other guy in. So it's great. It's great.
You almost put it to sleep.
He did. He passed out.
Yeah,
He knocked out, and I felt his neck crunch, and I felt bad, but you know, that's part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the play. Yeah, that was really good. What's your plan game for the other one? For your game plan?
My game plan going forward is to do the exact same shit, heavy with the wrestling, and just keep hitting people that think that jiu-jitsu is the only thing that they can do. It's not gonna work. I can hit you. I can hit anybody, and I can submit them too. It's crazy feeling. It's a crazy feeling.
That's really great to hear that.
That's
so amazing. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, God. Pleasure. Thank you, God. I appreciate everybody here. Thank you.
It was good. It's clean. He actually tried to play rubber guard on me, which is interesting.
I saw that.
And so I just pinned and stepped over. But I'm actually trying to play for top crucifix. I had a good hold. He actually was able to hold off the top crucifix, so I had to switch back. And then I didn't really want to give up top there, so it was actually kind of a little bit of a mistake. But then, yeah, we got into the guard. He kind of messed up by throwing a few strikes there and gave me my rubber guard. So things happen fast in combat jiu-jitsu. Yeah, you get.
Trying to make it like that, or just happen?
It just happens. You have to close the distance in combat jiu-jitsu. You can't have any open space, but it is me. It is my style. It is how it's gonna happen fast with me, one way or another.
Probably not. Yeah. The audio. Well, you went with the worst guy first. Because like, if you looked at their match in the beginning, they were so distracted by doing action that they remind themselves, shit, I have to actually strike. Like that's usually what happens when you go against, you know, like normal grapplers. Like he was like head because of that. Yeah, I'm getting right now. You want to just, bro? Even imagine he relinquished all of his control just to in OT with Rock. Like if that doesn't tell you about his mentality, that's bro. This is good. Piece of fuck.
I mean, we know the guy. We kind of game planned a little bit. We knew if I faced him, I'd be able to take him down. And then on top, really it's the same game plan. I'm working to cut angles, drag, and strike. And off of that, I'm just bringing them in deep waters. You know, I got him into... if we can go arm, he said go arm and finish, and that's what I did. and I escaped when it was his turn. So that's just how we do it here at Blackburn.
First of all, congratulations. Like, I'm so happy to see you with the belt.
Thank you.
I've seen you like evolving through the past combat jiu-jitsu to now and to see you become the combat jiu-jitsu champion. Tell me, what are your afterthoughts after all this craziness?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, I want to sit down, have a sip of water, enjoy the time here with my coach and my teammate. And then after, I want to take a little bit of a break, focus on some of my kids I teach and the wrestling team I help with, and then honestly pick right back up because, this is only the beginning. January's coming up, and I'd love to. Again, like I told them, a UFC Fight Pass or Flow Grapple, WNO. But otherwise, I want to do Worlds, Pans, in the Nogi circuit, of course. And just go from there.
Excellent. One more thing. What's something you're looking forward to eat right now?
Where to eat? I'd love a big steak, some sushi, maybe some horchata.
We just finished an incredible weekend jiu-jitsu overdose. The combat jiu-jitsu just got to an end. We got our champion, we already talked with him, and now we have Jonathan Hernandez. He is really well known here in the community as the head coach of 10 Planet Cancun, and he's been a really, we can say, really important part of the combat jiu-jitsu being here and helping
a little bit
to grow. Let's
a
be
little bit.
honest. So, can you introduce to the people that doesn't know you? What
Yeah.
are you doing here?
Yeah, everybody calls me Johnny. Yes, I'm Johnny Hernandez. I'm the head coach in 10 Planet Cancun. I'm a black belt on the I'm a black belt under Eddie Bravo. And yeah, this was an idea that 7 years ago I told Eddie, hey Eddie, let me do an event in a resort. I know it's gonna be fun. And suddenly in 2020 there was this opportunity of doing not just one but 3 events, and suddenly we are in the number 10. So it's amazing that we had just the jiu-jitsu overdose, and it was really an overdose of jiu-jitsu. I'm so happy. I'm really I enjoy every day a lot, and a lot more the days that my athletes were competing like Hade. And so I'm really thankful for everything that's happened these days.
Thank you very much. This will be everything for this time. Next year we're gonna be on Vallarta in 2025. So keep in tune with us.
Yes.
Us.